Hey guys, Ricasta here, back with some more Blue Protocol style Resonance, and for today I want to talk about everything to do with guilds in this game, because they are super important and you would miss out on a lot by not joining one. Getting into one is super easy, just gotta go to the guild tab by just going to the menu here, or by pressing U on the keyboard, and usually this will bring up a menu to filter through all of the guilds that you can join. Some of them are just open, so that if you just apply, you'll instantly get in, or you might have to go through an accepting process by like the guild master of that guild. This depends on how they set it up. Otherwise, you can just make a guild of your own by going into the store here, and then on the very bottom, there is this colorful store where there's a guild charter to buy. And then this just costs 200 bound rose orbs, which you get very easily just earning it through the game. And with that, you should be able to create a guild of your own. One thing to look out for when you're joining a guild or creating one of your own is to at least get up to 10 members within your guild, because this gives you access to the guild center, the place I'm in right now. And this is what lets you access many of the features of the guild that are really nice. If you don't have that 10 members, then you won't be able to get a lot of the resources from here. Once you reach the 10 members, there will be this crowdfunding button right here where it says the guild center. And this is where you just have to get those 10 people to click on that button and say they're crowdfunding into that guild center. And once those 10 have done that, then you'll have access to it permanently. But as far as I know, that crowdfunding doesn't cost any resources, you just gotta make sure that they click it. Now let's talk about the benefits of these guilds. First off, with these weekly activity rewards. So this is where everyone tries to get these activity merits by doing these tasks down below. And then once you start doing them, you get these boxes on this bar here, which can give bound Luno and guild tokens, which go towards a guild store we'll talk about in a little bit. And then there's also the star chests, which give a whole bunch of items. Bound rose orbs, which is very nice, and this just increases throughout the week as you get more of these. For the tasks, they're all pretty simple with these activity merit ones right here. This is where you literally just do the daily that you're going to normally be doing anyways by going to the season hub here and these activity merits. So just like the tasks that give you the bulk of the XP for your personal gain, that also provides benefit towards the guild that you're in. Then there's this check-in quest, which is super simple. You just go to the guild center and then you talk to Laura here, and that is literally all you have to do for the check-in quest, and that gives you like a little bit towards yourself, then helps with that weekly activity rewards. Then there are these guild hunts and guild dances. So these are activities tied to guilds that you'll find a big portal within the guild center, and then there's a guild dance stage up above. So with the guild hunts, these you want to do as a party with your guild to kill either one boss monster or two at the same time, depending on the difficulty that you do it. And with that, you will be able to get various rewards such as guild tokens, different materials, chests, and even the mech shards, which are very useful for later in the game to increase your chances at refining. With these though, they can only be done twice a day. It says attempts there, but it actually means clears. If you fail, it doesn't consume an attempt. And with this, with normal, that's going to be the thing that you're going to be doing at first as the game is launched. But later down the line, once people get more ability score, then you can actually do the hard guild hunt, which is going to give you a little bit more extra rewards for yourself. Keep in mind with these guild hunts, they're only available on the weekends or Friday, Saturday, Sunday in this time range here for like 14 hours each day. So it's like a decent amount of time on the weekends, but just keep that in mind. Same with the guild dance. It only has a day on Friday for 12 hours that you'll be able to do this guild dance. This is where you just dance in the upper portion of the guild center. And then once enough people do so, it actually gives you buffs towards extra damage and HP for those guild hunts, and also gives you a little bit of rewards if you stay there for at least a couple minutes. Then we have one of the most important activities that you can do, and that's the guild cargo daily quest. So this, you go to the cargo administrator, Douglas, right by the check-in lady. And this is where you're going to be turning in certain life skill items, and that has different point values. Has high price plus 50%, fair price, and then low price minus 20%. So with all these values, once you submit the items, they give more score towards this bar right here. So items that are in this upper portion are better to put into this than the ones down below. But once you reach these certain thresholds with points or like with the items that you submit, that gives you these items in these boxes here, which that is Luno and guild tokens. But this isn't just bound Luno, this is actually Luno that you can use in the auction house, so the non-bound kind. So this is really important, especially for those that are free-to-play players, because this is one of the few sources they can continuously get this kind of Luno. And with each of these thresholds, this is cumulative as well, so Then you get 1800 here, and then an additional 2700 here once you reach that instantly. So if you do all of these, you get to 18,000 Luno in total per day. So that's really nice. And then once you reach the most that you can do for the day, you can press this depart button below. And then if you at least reach 2,000 in the volume here, you'll get these rewards as well. But if you do forget to press that button, don't worry about it because it does auto depart after the day is over. So you'll get these rewards regardless if you've reached that amount. Then one important note with the majority of these items is that they will cost stamina to be able to gather or to craft. So like these sweet berries here, you need to use stamina to gather them, or you need to use stamina to craft these different materials in addition to getting stamina-based gatherables, so double the stamina there. So you just gotta be careful with which items you're trying to go for and try to maximize on these points. Usually, the harder it is to make, like this blue item here, the more points it's going to get towards this. But there is an exception, and that is the fish down here. So this Astromacher or whatever, and this flaming grouper, you can just fish endlessly as long as you have the bait and the rods for it, and those just cost bound Luno, so you can just keep doing that over and over again, but they do only give so many points, so just 80 points towards this 20,000, so that'd be a lot of fishing that you have to do if you're trying to do that exclusively. So if you're able to just grind it out, this would be the way to go, so you don't waste stamina towards this. You can use it towards other things, but if you're trying to do this in a faster rate, then I would go for other items on here. So that's all for the weekly activity rewards, but as your guild is doing this, everyone is getting XP towards the guild center and guild funds that you use on upgrades in here. So the guild center gets this XP, and once it reaches these thresholds, then you can use guild funds to level it up. And then once the guild center is more leveled, you can level other aspects of the guild itself. We'll talk about these areas in more depth in a second, but with the leisure area, as you upgrade this, you can get more guild members within your guild. So initially it starts at a capacity of 80. You increase that or more and more if you want a large guild. Then there's the grocery store. This just unlocks more items to buy within the grocery store for everybody. And then with the Boon Fountain, this gives extra buffs towards everyone that the officers can activate for everyone. And then there's this photo panel. This just displays photos that people submit on the panels on the sides of the guild center. Then there's this ID machine and practice room, which cannot be upgraded. Once an officer does select to upgrade something using the guild funds, there will be a timer like of a few hours or whatever it is. And as that is going, you can actually go in there and accelerate the process by using some bound rose orbs. It isn't like by a whole lot, but if you are looking for some extra non-bound Luno, you can submit those orbs to get 1800 every time. But this is up to a limit of 3. But now with the upgrades out of the way, let's talk about what these areas do themselves. So with the leisure area, this isn't like a whole lot, just kind of like a hanging out space, maybe take some screenshots or whatever. But there is a culinary station if you want to cook some different items instead of just using what's in town. With the grocery store, this is the more important one though, which is right nearby. So you talk to Chien here, the grocery administrator. And with this, you can buy some very important items. So there are some cosmetics in here, but this is the item that we're looking for, this focus potion. This gives you 100 focus or the stamina for life scaling. So you use just the guild tokens that you're getting from doing all those activities from before. And then you can buy up to 8 of these a week. So 800 stamina a week just for being a part of a guild and doing that stuff. In addition to that, there are these mech shards, which same ones as the ones that you get in the guild hunt, so increases your chances at refining later on in the game. And then there's these refining materials, so the mystery metal, radiant stone, and forge stones that you get out of these chests, but it is random when you use these chests. You can't select these, you just get whatever the game wants to give you, but it's still very nice getting 80 of these a week. I would say out of these, the focus potion is definitely the #1 thing to get every single week. It's just always good. With the guild supply chest, you definitely want that second if you can, if you get enough of the guild tokens. And then later on the line, the mech shards are nice, but you should be getting plenty of these from doing the guild hunts or other activities in the game. Then these other 2 boxes are just like extra materials that you should be able to just get easily enough, but if you have the extra coin to spend on it, then you can. And the lock section down here, because we don't have grocery store level 3 yet, is another cosmetic for headwear. Then there's these mixing agents, which you use for dyeing your different outfits, and then more mech shards, which these are like a better version of the ones right here. Finally, there's these guild vouchers, which is the avatar one, and the name card. This is used in the guild ID machine. This machine can be found right behind the front desk, and this is where you can either take a portrait or take a card photo. With the portrait, this is taking a photo of your character for your avatar icon, And then taking a card photo, this is taking a longer shot for your name card. With both of these, you can use different emotes and expressions to get a certain pose, and can even pause those emotes to get that perfect shot. With this as well, you can use different backgrounds and apply different filters. And then once you're done, just take a photo, and then it'll ask you to use one of those vouchers from before. You should start with one of each by a main story quest very early in the game. While we're on the topic of those photos, there is these photo panels on both sides of the front room. And this is where you can just take photos wherever in the game, put it into a temporary album and into the guild's one. And then once your guild master or certain officers review the photo and accept it, it should now start displaying on these panels. And now let's go down the stairs. This is where that guild hunt portal is at. But then also on the opposite side of the room, there are these practice dummies. This can help you test how your damage is or different abilities. So it's pretty nice because there isn't anywhere else in the game as far as I'm aware. So this is the only spot for that. And then in the very center, there is this Boon Fountain. In here, there are two different tabs. First, there's this Yielding Blessing. This is where different officers can spend the guild funds for bonuses for 24 hours. And the first one available is getting extra fish when fishing. And then later down the line, once your Boon Fountain is level 4, you can get the extra plant yields. So when you're gathering plants, you can get more from that. And then also extra meat from killing monsters. And with the battle blessings, these are quite a bit different. They involve the dragon raids, which should come out a few weeks after launch. And then once a certain amount of guild members clear these at the different difficulties, you'll get a bonus towards the damage against them. Then also you take less damage for the entire guild. That's pretty much it for the facilities here. I heard that eventually this aquarium tank in the back, you'll be allowed to submit fish in here, and then they'll start swimming around, but that isn't in the game yet. But besides that, for leaders of the guild, you can change the positions of everybody in the member list, and you can actually create different custom positions that have different permissions, and you can edit it in the same menu. You can change that for like Vice Master, Administrator, like the default ones too. That's everything that I have for you guys today on guilds. Hopefully this helped you out, and if it did, please consider liking and subscribing, and let me know what you want to see next. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.